Okay, we're live. So, Peter, you recently attended the Small Giants conference. What is Small Giants and how did you first hear about it?
The Small Giants came about for me from reading the book Small Giants, and the underscore of that was companies that choose to be great instead of big by Bo Burlingham. And I first learned about that book by reading the book Traction by Gino Wickman, who was the founder of the EOS or Entrepreneurial Operating Systems that are used by many businesses as well.
That's great. What inspired you to attend the Small Giants meeting this year?
Well, the book discusses a number of small businesses and the trials and tribulations that they've gone through that have, in his opinion, are companies that are not great, not big companies, but are great companies in the way in which they approach things from a value standpoint and such. Some of those companies was Ani DeFranco's company, Righteous Babe Records in Buffalo, Gary Erickson's Cliff Bar business, and Fritz Maytag's business, Anchor Brewing in San Francisco. The stories of those encouraged me to that this is I'd like our business to be like those businesses, and so I thought it would be a good idea to join that community.
And real quick, just for everyone that isn't familiar with Small Giants, could you give the listeners just a quick overview of what the Small Giants philosophy is all about?
Sure. It's really many different philosophies, but in a nutshell, it's companies that choose to be great instead of big. Um, uh, you want to, there's many principles, but some of them are to know why you're in business, to reject growth for growth's sake, to cultivate deep personal relationships with both customers and your employees, to keep control of the business, to think long term, to lead with authenticity and humility, to be an organization of continual learning and improvements, making value-based decisions even when they're costly, and just to create a great workplace. Those are many things that radiate with me, and I wanted to be part of a community that embraces those values.
When you were at the event, what was your biggest takeaway?
Well, the greatest opportunity, of course, is the networking that you have with individuals that's going to allow you, when an issue comes up in your business, to give someone a call who has approached that before. And you simply don't have that opportunity if you haven't connected with these people earlier. As a complete stranger, it's very hard to call someone up and say, "Hey, listen, I understand you've done a terrific job with um, ESOP or some other type of business ownership plan." That conversation is never going to happen on an open basis unless you have developed that network. So that's certainly one of the very first ones. But there's a number of sessions in there as well that were very helpful, where individuals talked about the story of their businesses.
Was there a specific session or speaker that really stuck with you?
Yeah, there was several. Meg Gluth, who runs a company called Catalint, it's $100 million manufacturing business. And she talked about the various trials and tribulations of her life and how, she was able to move forward and to grow as an individual. Came from a very poor background, and as a teenager became involved with various substance abuses. And ultimately, when she wanted to go to law school, she couldn't get a loan co-signed, and one of her friend's father decided to co-sign that, even though her parents wouldn't co-sign it. And that belief in her from almost a stranger, so to speak, um, uh, set her on a course of upwards spiral that was very wonderful to learn about. Um, and Steve Kroll was another one. He is the owner of Be Found Online, and him and his business partner had a number of different issues and struggles, and his story of that and the ability to have ask him questions and answers about his journey on resolving those issues. And it was not a 1 year scenario. It was a many year scenario of resolving those. So those are two that were of particular interest to me.
A couple weeks ago, you also went to the EOS conference. How did this event compare to that?
The two events are really both incredibly beneficial, but from different perspectives. Both of them are wonderful for building a connection of networks. The Small Giants does not have any vendors there. It's just strictly for business owners to meet and with EOS, there's numerous vendors there that are there to help you implement the EO process into your business. And so both incredibly beneficial, but from a different perspective. The EOS is a much larger conference and also gave you many more choices of things to attend. My business partner, Justin, attended that with me, and it was wonderful for him to be there because we could both go to the same sessions and then have discussions of the ideas that came from that and how would it be to implement those into our business and what are the ones that we would want to prioritize. And the prioritization that came out of that, number one, was that we felt it was important to hire an implementer to put the EOS process in place. And we chose Justin Mouse, who is well-renowned in the EOS community. And we'll begin that process on June 20th, and I'm looking forward to that.
As mine. Did you hear of any examples of companies who are living out their values in surprising or interesting ways while you were there?
It wouldn't be of anyone's value to attend that conference if they weren't attempting to live out some of these values. But a number of companies have various types of ownership and intention to own businesses, say for 100 years, to have it privately owned, and to have ownership of the employees. And that was a big part of my encouragement was with the last year when we started the Phantom Stock program. And we're not done with the resolution of that, but what we wanted to do is we wanted our business partners and associates here to benefit of a growing organization too, so that all of us are in this together and we're working together as a team. And we just entered our 8th year as a business, and we started on April 1st of 2017. So and we're very excited about the process. We, in many ways, considered ourselves still a fledgling, but over the years we've been figuring things out one step at a time, and it's wonderful to make that progress and to be recognized in the Inc. 5000 last year, in the Rochester Top 100, among some of the other things. But I don't think we'll ever get to the point where we say we've got everything licked. We're very humble and realize that we're just a fledgling in so many ways.
Would you mind talking about some of the principles from Small Giants that make the community so unique?
Sure. A real big one is know why you're in business. I spoke to one of the members today who owns a lawn and maintenance business, and he was talking to me about all the testimonials that he had on his website. But all of us at that conference we're there to serve. We're stewards of the individuals and clients and customers that we work with, and it's not all about the money. And if it was all about the money, I don't think you belong at that conference. So it is so incredibly rewarding to see how we have partnered with our clients to help them build wealth and preserve that wealth and to move that into multi-generations. We've had several client luncheons in recent months, and we have another one coming up. it's incredibly rewarding to see those individuals and see the progress that we've helped them resolve the issue of creating wealth. So we solve one major issue that many people do not solve in their life, and I think that's incredibly rewarding and humbling that they give us the opportunity to be stewards of that. Rejecting growth for growth's sake. The reason that we as a firm want to grow is our people can't grow if we don't grow. And we want A players on our team. And you can't have an A player and say that, with Marissa, for example, in operations, in HR, it's not very challenging to have an HR of 3 people. But if you got 10 people or 15 or 20 or 25 or even 50, now she's constantly forced to grow and improve. And it's not just Marissa, it's everybody else on the team that's also forced to grow. And so that's really why we want to grow, is so that the individuals who are part of our team are going to be growing and getting the rewards of the growth. Some of the things that are our own core values are also important principles for the small giants as well. For example, one of our core values is long-term thinking, and to foster continuous learning. 2 wonderful principles, but I don't know that the world embraces those nearly to the extent that we do. I'll listen to CNBC, and their idea of long-term is 6 months or a year. We've owned many of our investments for 7, 10, 15, 20, 25 years. And so we want to practice that. And of course, we want to both be as long as I'm going to live, I want to be learning how to live. And that's all about continuous learning and improvement. So there's some of those values.
Thank you. For anyone that hasn't read Small Giants, what do you think that they might take away from the book?
I guess you decide, is this for you? Is this the kind of business that you would like, or is it not for you? So in the book, it's giving you the stories of Ani DeFranco with Righteous Babe Records in Buffalo, who chose not to sign with a major record label and do things the way that made sense for her. So it was really exciting to learn about that, and also her involvement with the community and the saving of the church on Delaware Avenue and turning it into a recording studio. Gary Erickson's story at Cliff Bar, where he was planning on selling his business, and he's at the table, and I believe the transaction was about $65 million, and he just got this gut feeling as it was ready to close. He said, I don't think this is the right thing to do. And he backed away from it. But he also had a business partner who said, wait a minute here. This isn't just your decision. I want to sell my half of the business for $30 million. We have an opportunity. And so he arranged to buy her out for $30 million. And it was not an easy thing for him to do, given that they didn't have nearly that kind of liquidity, but chose to do that. Anchor Brewing was also one that I found very motivational, which was Fritz Maytag is from his grandfather was the founder of Maytag washing machine company. And really they were one of the first of the small brewers that have become so popular now. And his approach to doing that, and where there was opportunities to grow significantly, where he chose to walk away from those. So those are just a few of the many, many stories from Small Giants that put things in perspective of, what does each of us as business owners ultimately want to do. And I came back to the office after reading that book, and I said to Justin, this is the kind of company I'd like to be. And so we've been on a mission to try to be like that. He's bought into the idea as well.
Great. Do you have any final comments on the Small Giants Conference that you want to talk about?
I would say one of the the big learning lessons. And of course, it's repeated to us many times, and we didn't need to attend the conference to know this already. But when you're running a small business, and even though you're making terrific progress, the fact that you're on the Inc. 5000 or the Rochester Top 100, you always have issues, and it's a never-ending scenario of trying to work through issues that come up. Thank goodness that we have a team that is all on board with resolving those issues and realizing that that all the lights to downtown are not green. There's some red lights, and there's plenty of struggles that we don't have to go looking for them; they find us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it sounds like you had a great experience, and I'm looking forward to hearing about how the conference is next year and any more news to come.
Great.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Peter.
Kellan.
Of course. Okay.